I'm just going to record what it looks like to hook up because I think a lot of people don't know. And it's not anything crazy. But this is how I hook up every day. I start with a flush. Now I already have hooked up my bag to my tubing, and I have not flushed the line though, and that means that once I'm ready, I'll open this up and it'll allow the fluid to come pretty rapidly through to make sure there's no air in, to get the air out of the line and make sure there's no air in the line. But first, I use the saline flush to get that ready. Alcohol wipe. And I take this, and I have been taking my tape, and it's the regular thick medical tape like this, and I have been like taking some off and then lengthwise pulling it into smaller strips so that I don't have this whole big wide piece of tape on this. And also I put it on I have kind of sweaty hands to begin with, for my whole life. And so I've been taking the tape and just rubbing it all over my hands over and over and over again before I put it on here, and that's helping so that I don't rip my skin off every time, which is a good plan. So then I take my alcohol wipe, take off my green cap. Usually I'm not quite this messy with it, but of course when you're on tape, for me anyway, that's how it is. And I unclamp these. If I don't unclamp, or if I leave them unclamped, blood comes in the line. It's super gross. It's not harmful, but it's gross. Now it's a needle change day, so I've had this in for 6 days because we don't put the needle in the same day. We, in an effort to be able to have the needle out longer, kind of to be able to utilize that time better, take it out Saturday morning, hook up first thing Saturday morning, take it out Saturday afterwards, then I'm able to swim or do whatever the rest of the day. The next day, try to sneak a swim in before I hook up, and hook up later than normal. Then get this, I've got trash over here. I'm just gonna let the saline flow into the trash for a second. It's all good. And we're hooked up. And then I've clamped this all the way closed, and now I just have to open it up enough to get my flow where I need it. And that's pretty good. I use a timer on my phone, which I'm using to record, so I can't time it at this moment, but that's how it goes. It's that easy. What's interesting is that placement of the port, placement of the needle in the port really makes a difference with the flow. So it's supposed to be a 2-hour infusion. I have a gravity, might be going a little bit fast there. All of a sudden I felt like a rush. So it's a gravity pull, just saline bag gravity pull. I don't have a pump or anything like that, but I am considering asking for one just because it's easier to deal with, like on the go. Like I'm on the go. I live in my bedroom. But if I wanted to go somewhere, it would be nice to have the pump. I could even do it in the car then. And then also, not being hooked up to a pool is really nice because you keep the pump, it's like in a little backpack or bag, and it doesn't have to be above you or anything like that, which is really nice. And you just set it and it pumps at that speed. With this, it is all gravity, and it's really interesting to me. The needle placement matters a ton, and so if we get in and we are able to get a blood return, which means that the needle's in, it can still be like up against a wall or just not in the right spot, and but in the port. But then because of that, have just a super slow flow where it takes like twice as long to do the infusion. And that's really frustrating because it's like 4 hours hooked up to it, which is not, I mean, again, I live in bed, so I realize that it's not like that big of an inconvenience for me. Like, what else am I going to be doing? But it's just a long time to be hooked up to something and I have to use the bathroom many times during my infusions. Dysautonomia. So I have to, because I don't have a pump, I have to then clamp myself, unhook the bag, take it to the bathroom, hang the bag up. Thank God my husband put up a hook so I have a place in the bathroom for my bag now. But I mean, it's just kind of like extra, and it doesn't seem like that's a lot, and because it's not, but for someone who's already struggling to do everything, 4 hours of that is too much. So I'm like, I have a really good flow with this needle. So, and this needle has not been my favorite. Like, it's hurt, and I usually don't have pain at the site. So, and it's not infected. There's nothing going on around it. So I know it's not, infected or anything. I don't know why I have pain. And it's not excruciating pain or anything, but it's enough to make me go, like push on it and try to get it to not hurt. But with this type of flow, I know it's where it needs to be. It's pretty incredible. So even though I've had this pain, I'm like, I just gotta leave this needle in forever because I have such a good flow. But I won't, because you have to change them every week. But I'm pretty excited. I think my husband was talking about the difference, because it's like, this flow is so much better than it's been. And he was like, yeah, I think I've been going to the left, or too far to the left, or something like that, or maybe not far enough to the left, or whatever, when he's putting the needle in. So he's gonna try to keep aiming for this spot. So that's exciting. I just wanted to share, because I know that it's not something that is normal for most people, and it seems intimidating probably, but it's really not. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just, just easy to hook up. And when this is done, now of course I don't have my green caps with me because I wasn't planning on taking a video until I sat down. But usually in my bag on my nightstand, I also have the green caps, which I had removed from this. Since it's needle change day, I don't need one. But any day aside from needle change day, once this is done, I use the flush, which seems silly since it's a saline flush for saline, but that's part of the protocol. So I do my saline flush, and then I follow with my heparin. And this is just an anticoagulant. So it just ensures that I don't wind up with blood clots. And then I end with a green cap. And then I take this, and this part would not be on it, it would just be a green cap here, and take my little strip of tape, put it on my hand, get it so it's not so sticky, and then just stick it here. And that's where it stays until I do it the next day. So, and that having it here is just a bazillion times better. I tried to just leave it hanging because, like I said, I was ripping the skin off with the tape, but that's scary because it messes with this bandage too much. And now that I am not using the Tegaderm and I'm using the IV3000, which is not as sticky, I have to reinforce with tape like a bazillion times. It's really not something that's going to stay put. So every time this moves around, and I have used strip, put it all the way around and then down, and that's what I'm going to do going forward too, because that really helps to keep it in place and doesn't allow it to pull up on it. But it still isn't perfect, and so I don't care for it moving around. That's just asking for the tape to be pulled up. So having it taped here as well really helps with that. It also helps with not being afraid that in my sleep I'm going to put my arm on it and then lift up and end up ripping it. And it makes it so that it's safe in the bathtub when I'm taking my bath. So win, 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 win. And now that I've gotten the idea to just use much smaller strips and take a lot of the stickiness away, I'm having a lot less of a reaction on my skin too. So that's the process. It's really not difficult. It's probably not something that's ideal for most people, but for someone who needs it, it's pretty awesome. And it's really awesome that I get to do it in my own house, in my own bed, and I'm really, obviously no one wants to be disabled and no one wants this to be their life, but I'm really blessed that I have these tools and that I'm able to get these medical supplies and that I have a doctor that is amazing and that immediately knew that this was dysautonomia and that I needed these treatments. Most people, I don't want to act like I haven't had to fight. I fought 30 freaking years of my life to get diagnoses, and I was dismissed and invalidated and demeaned and all sorts of things in between. And it's been a really hard fight, but I finally found a really good doctor, and I don't even want to imagine what my life would be like without him, because things have gotten so much worse, and without him, I don't think my other doctors would have been able to figure this out. I don't think most of them even would acknowledge that this is a thing. And let me tell you what, when I had to go without my fluids for 2 days because I had to let my skin heal for 2 days from the chemical burn, I'm still feeling that. It's been over a week since I had to take that time off, and my body still can't get it together, and that's 2 days, that's it. Without these treatments, I don't even want to think about, I would not be functional. Not like I'm super functional now, but you know what I mean. I would not be able to breathe. I wouldn't be able to talk. It would be so much worse. I would, no control over bodily functions, no control. It was really bad, and it was getting worse and worse. And without this stuff, I know I'm really lucky and really blessed. And a lot of that is privilege. I'm a white woman with really good insurance, and even then it's been a struggle. So I don't want to take any of that for granted. Yes, this sucks. Yes, my life will never be what I hoped it would be. I'll never be able to do a lot of the things that I thought I would be able to do, but my God, I'm going to be able to be at my kids' weddings. I'll be able to watch them graduate. And I'm not going to take that for granted, knowing how much I struggled to get diagnoses and how bad things could be if I didn't have the privilege that I do. And so while I am filled with a lot of guilt about that, I also am filled with a lot of gratitude for having these things that I have, and trying to make it all make sense. Have all these feelings simultaneously and all of that. But now I'm going down a whole other rabbit hole. But anyway, this is just what it's like to hook up every day, and just to show that it's not scary, and this is just how it is.